Right, this time I'm going to be making a laser rifle from Fallout. In this case I'm going with the Fallout 4 design, and for this I've produced actual drawings which I'm going to put, well, I have already put on my Facebook page because they didn't let me decide when I could put it up, so they're already out. Now each one of these, the measurements are in centimetres, and literally measurement A goes to A at the top. So it should be easy enough to replicate at least the basic shape. Now it does still involve some artwork to do, but you know. Now for this I'm going to be using a foam core for the main body, for everything, and then it's going to be reinforced with doweling in sections. I'm going to put a strap over it so you can actually just like put it on your back, you know, the way you did in Fallout 3 that they don't let you do in 4 for some reason. It is completely beyond me. So first off, I've got my plans. I'm going to mark out all of these pieces, and then I'm going to make those pieces, then I'm going to cut them all out. Right, I've cut the majority of the pieces now. This is going to be the main barrel. That's the end cover for the end of the barrel, and this is the stock for underneath. And these sections here, which is the start of the upper body at the back. So for this section, which is going to be the stock, on its own this material isn't that strong. You can of course just stick them together like this and it'll be able to take a bit of force, but what I like to do is get a bit of 6mm doweling, because this is 5mm card, but they don't do 5mm doweling for some reason. So I use 6, and then I cut sections like along there, out of the centre one, and then put a little bit of stick in that just to give it a little bit extra strength. And of course I run that up, if possible. I'll run it up through the body so it will also work in there. It's just better. Again, I found it while making swords, it's better and it's less likely to just snap. Now with the main shell of it, I'm going to be putting just short of the back here the first attachment point for the shoulder or for the strap to hold on the back. Now to do that I'm just going to cut into it. Again, just not much of a cut, just enough to get the strap through. Then I get some webbing if I can find it. Essentially along the lines of this stuff, it's just thin webbing, and then run it in through the hole. Now this bit is far too small to actually be used as a strap, but you get the idea. You make that hole just big enough to fit the webbing through, because you don't want to make it too big, because yeah, it'll just damage the structure of the rifle. And then you do that, and then it goes all the way through, and you make a complete butt of yourself. Basically on the longer bit, it doesn't matter if you pull it a little bit too far. But then once you've got it through, and you've got to do it with a long bit, of course, you then glue it down on the bottom, which is going to be the inside. You then cut strips to this length, but thinner, and then stick them up lengthwise along the side there. And those will just add surface area for when you glue them together, as such. Again, glue them together as a square, using the additions here, which is just a straight piece cut. It doesn't matter how straight it is, because no one's ever going to see it. And then once this is made into a rectangular shape, you take the centre square, which is the one with C in the middle of it, and you stick these on in that manner. Now of course these are measured so that you actually have a little bit extra on them, so that you can go over the edges like that. And when these go together, it's the square in the top corner. Once all these go together, these should just slide over the end of the barrel. Now I'm keeping them as slidable, so that when I build the rifle in the end, I can just slide the end off, take the batteries out, because I'm going to put little LEDs in the front that will shine out into the distance and alike. just make it a little bit cooler that way. I've now glued the sections together. Now this here's the doweling I was talking about. It's just two little sticks stuck inside just to give it a little bit more rigidity. Now this section here I've cut out a shaft going up into the main body. Now in that I'm going to have something, basically just something in there that I can use as a trigger. And then I've got this little push button that's going to be sitting up the top there. So when I push the trigger, it pushes the button. When I pull the trigger back, which will turn on the light on the front. It's going to be a very basic circuit on this one, just to allow for that. It's literally just a button, a battery, and some LEDs, some resistors. That's it, nothing complicated. So I'm going to continue layering this up, because now I can just slide whatever I eventually decide on down into that. And that gap is sufficient to fit my finger into, which I also checked. It's a bad idea to make one that isn't. Okay, at this point, I've basically constructed the body. Again, that bit just slides onto the end. It's a little bit of a tight fit at the moment, but that's okay, it's where it's supposed to be. I'm going to put LEDs in the end by here. And otherwise, apart from the bottom section of the frame, it's basically done, and of course this side. Now I've left this side open because it's got all the mechanisms in, I haven't wired it yet. But if you can't see, it's got a little bit of wood sticking down into the trigger section, which actually pushes the little button by there. If you can see it, there's a little button by there, which is just a push switch. So when you pull the trigger, it just pushes the push button in, which will activate the lights when it's finally done. So that's the basic shape of it done, but without the rail underneath and the bit coming out the bottom. Since last time, I've wired in the switch inside. I've made this bit on the end, and I've attached on the hook. This is just a little bit of pipe. I can't remember what the diameter of it is, but again, it's just a thin little bit of pipe. I've made a box in there that it glues into, and a box down there that it slots into, which means that this end is removable. It means that this is going to be where the battery is going to be kept, as well as that there, and I've got a plug on the inside. Well, I've got a plug on the inside, which is where you plug in the batteries to connect it to the switch. Again, that just slots in. It's quite a tight fit, and then you slide that into place, and it all comes together. Now again, I've got a set of red LEDs for it, which I've wired up somewhere on the desk. It's getting to be quite a mess, but this is one of them. Now that's just an LED with a resistor soldered to it, which then all going to be put in and attached to a 9-volt battery. I'm using red with a 9-volt battery and a normal switch, so nothing really special. Now I've just got to do a little bit of detailing here, and then probably add a little rim around there, but I might not, depends how I feel. And then after that, I'm going to sand down all of these edges, just so they're all smooth, and then it goes off to painting, and it'll come back looking a lot more like a laser rifle than a white block, as it is now. I've added little bits here. This bit of foam, which I've just used Eva foam for, it's just for a under barrel grip. And then I've sanded off around all the edges just to make it more curved. Again, it makes it look better, and it's not vital, but it's a good idea anyway. So it's now going off to be painted. To the point, I do actually do all my own painting. I just don't do it in this room, because my mum would kill me for destroying her room. Actually, she wouldn't kill me, but she would severely dislike it and probably start charging me a lot of money. Mostly to get the room redecorated, but either way. Right, at this point I've made the lighting circuit, which is honestly just that mess. It is literally just LEDs with resistors on them. There's 690 ohm resistors and just ultra bright red LEDs. I've now finished painting the rifle. Now, it's not entirely done, but the base coat is. Now the main body is all silver. Now this is primer with chrome over the top. I've got the front as well, which is up here. Now, and I've done the main barrel, which is green. As you can see, it's still hollow down there. But I've added some super bright LEDs into the front, which is a set of 4 of them, and wired them up. Now in the center, now the switch I've got back there, I've put a plug onto, so it just breaks the live when it's not pressed, or breaks the battery for it at least. So once that all goes inside, I wouldn't advise sticking down the front of this so it's permanently attached, because you'll need to get to that battery at some point. But I now have a relatively finished laser rifle. And again, failing to make it work because honestly there's a loose connection in there. I know there is. This will now work in that position, but not there. Again, I have a feeling it's that's coming loose. But again, it's just one loose connection inside. But what I'm going to do is make a little casing inside so the battery can actually be held still, so it doesn't bounce around, and fix that loose connection so it'll actually work permanently. But again, you don't want to stick this bit onto there because you need to get to the battery to change it, and that would be quite useful. Then once I'm done with that, I'm going to be painting that bit over brown because it's supposed to be a grip, not supposed to be metal. And then after that, just do some detailing on it, do a little bit of writing along there. Now I'm leaving this one without a cell because I haven't made one. Then just do detailing on the stock just to make it look more like it does in the game. I've painted it now. This paint is still drying, so it's not going to be brilliant and I'm not going to be able to touch it all that much. But as you can see, I've added dirt around it. Let's just get some black paint and just go on it and just put it on really thin, just so it looks like oil. Then that's just some brown I did on the bottom. And then just do all the detailing you can. To dull up the chrome effect, I've put on some lighter grey, which is mixing brown and, black and grey together. And then I just put that over it just to stop it being quite so shiny. I've painted that wiring up the top because I'm not putting a real one there. And I've done the arrows and the like on there. I've also fixed up the issues that I was having with the battery pack. That was the loose connection in the switch, so now it works. Now again, this isn't the most effective with this much light, but if I do that, you can light up the table with it. So it's not bad, it's just 4 ultra bright LEDs. Now these hooks still work for holding it, that's why I'm holding it by them. And the end is still removable, so in the event you want to just pop it off and change the battery, you can. Okay, and that's my laser rifle. I'm sorry if this is a bit on the rushed side, but again, I'm making a large set of armour at the moment as well, so anyway, hope you enjoyed and hope this helps anyone wanting to make a prop laser rifle. If you want to make a real one, I can't help. So, see you next time.